Fuck you, 60 Minutes. So I don't know if you've noticed lately, but there has been a distinct push to take back control of what you get to watch and what you get to see. To understand the problem, you got to understand that the way things used to be back when I was growing up. I know I sound like a fucking boomer, but okay, boomer. Back when I was growing up, a very small, amount of companies controlled every ounce of information you and I get to consume. And that's the way they've enjoyed it for years. And it was used for politics. It was used to control what you get to eat, what is healthy, what news you consume, what you get to learn. And also it was used as propaganda. And, these are all things that you can see in today's modern mainstream media all over the world. Some countries are worse about it than others. There's some countries where they will straight up censor the shit and they will propagandize all of their news media. And if you think here in the United States that we're any fucking different, you'd be a little bit mistaken. See, the problem though is over the last 10 years, we've had places like YouTube explode. And as such, there's no longer a gatekeeper on the information you and I get to consume as viewers, which allows us to make more informed opinions. Now, arguably, you can still get propaganda and fake news and all of that shit out here on the interwebs. That's how it works. But you get to hear all sides of the argument and make your own fucking decision as to what your opinion or what your beliefs are. They don't like that. The mainstream media hates that. Oh, we get to make our own fucking opinions instead of you spoon-feeding us information to manipulate us into thinking and voting and eating a certain fucking way? Or is particularly when it comes to our health? So, 60 Minutes just did an outright attack on YouTube, a hit piece, featuring the CEO, Susan, whatever the fuck her name is, our CEO here on YouTube, and coming after her in an aggressive interview. I think, Susan handled herself fine. I have some criticisms, obviously, of the way YouTube has handled this. But I do like that she is approaching it from a free speech manner. She's not just straight up caving into this gatekeeper mentality, but at the same time, she got pulled in that direction to being a gatekeeper on YouTube. Mainly with deranking and all of these other things. Things that we should not be allowed to hear. It's censorship, straight up. But it isn't as bad as it could be. We're not going back necessarily to the old days. The internet is still an open place for now. At least here in the United States. Some countries have outright censored the internet. But here, you can still get your voice out there and have it be heard by others. Whereas in my youth, the only way to do that would be to go physically and talk to people and share ideas and share opinions and speak publicly in person. Now we can do that shit with these fucking things. Literally. At any moment, you could pull this out, make a video or take a picture or even write a blog or a post giving your thoughts, ideas, or something you just saw. Half the news I get comes in through this fucking thing and not through mainstream media, through social media mainly. And occasionally I stumble upon odd websites that give me information that otherwise would never have I would have never seen this shit. And this is why our health is so fucked up, is we never saw this shit. We straight up were fed a lie by mainstream media, and our health has suffered for it with the ever-increasing obesity epidemic. It's still ongoing. They haven't changed their tune. The problem they see it is we're out here talking about things that we're experiencing, things that we've observed, but because it's not blessed by these mainstream corporations and the advertisers that use them as platforms, they can no longer control our opinions, our beliefs. They want it back in a bad fucking way. People are watching less and less mainstream media. People are cord cutting, people are going to streaming services, and YouTube has more viewers than TV ever will at this point, worldwide. You can put out a video, some dickhead in a room like this can put out a fucking video and have millions or even billions of views. Mainstream news channels could only dream of those ratings. So they know the writing's on the wall there. So their solution is to bring their game to these platforms. But at the same time, they have a problem. They're still pumping out the same bought and paid for manipulative opinions on us. And they want to pressure all these social media platforms through these news hit pieces, through these news stories, through this fake news propaganda, hate speech crap. They want to do all of that and pressure these social media companies into becoming the new gatekeepers. And YouTube has already taken the first step in that direction by deranking conspiracy theories or health channels and all of that, bringing them down in the results and boosting up these mainstream platforms. But that ain't fucking good enough. Oh no, that's not enough. We want those other channels silenced. And they won't stop pressuring YouTube, Facebook, Twitter until they can get what they want, and that is to silence anybody that does not conform to mainstream ideas, knowledge, or, basically the corporate interest. Because let's face it, on mainstream media, the advertisers have controlled the content for years, for the entirety. Now, they want to reclaim it. And it's been an ongoing battle that has resulted in apocalypses, this COPA shit. It's destroyed the careers of thousands of content creators here on the platform and forced us to look to other platforms to diversify our content. I would love nothing more to put all my shit in this basket here on YouTube. All my eggs in one basket. I can't. I have to have my content in a bunch of different platforms. And sometimes I have to draw you from YouTube to those platforms. I don't want to have to fucking do that. Now, arguably my shit has been getting better on YouTube since this COPA thing happened because I've always been an adult-only fucking channel. And all the advertisers that can no longer target those, the COPA shit, they can't. They still want people to see their fucking ads. I'm seeing toy ads now. Did you know that? Like, I'm watching shit that has nothing to do with kid shit, and I'm seeing fucking toy ads. Christmas is coming and shit. So they obviously don't know, they're not targeted ads because they would know I'm not interested in that shit, given all the spying that these tech companies have done on me. I mean, this push by the mainstream media is only going to get worse as it continues to die. And, the way radio has kind of died, I do believe modern mainstream television is on its way out. but they're not going to go out without a fight. There's a lot of money invested, a lot of corporate interests that are going to be shit on if we're allowed to just watch whoever the hell wants to turn on a fucking camera and talk shit. Or whoever wants to educate people on something that they know, that they have been able to do for themselves. And it's more evident than ever when you look at how this has played out in the health community. And this is even brought up in this 60 Minutes piece. The link to both of these videos are in the description down below, but here are some clips and reactions to some of the bullshit that they are spouting here.
Owns YouTube, but the site has come under increasing scrutiny, accused of propagating white supremacy, peddling conspiracies, and profiting from it all. They recently agreed to pay a record $170 million to settle allegations that they targeted children with ads. YouTube is being forced to concentrate on cleansing the site. We visited the company's headquarters in San Bruno, California, to meet Susan Wojcicki, the 51-year-old CEO in charge of nurturing the site's creativity, taming the hate, and handling the chaos.
We have 500 hours of video uploaded every minute to YouTube.
That is breathtaking.
It is. We have a lot of video.
And a lot of influence on our lives and how we pass our time.
So right off the bat, she's already talking shit about how much influence. And you got to understand that this is not something that was ever desired. They do not want us to be influenced by anybody but them. That is the ultimate agenda of the mainstream media when they do these kinds of stories. They're looking to break down, and they're playing on all of this triggered outrage is the biggest thing that they've played on. But it's starting to expand because I think a lot of people have, I think the pendulum is swinging in the other direction, and social outrage is no longer going to be a means for them to smack down these platforms that we are allowed to express ourselves and communicate on. It doesn't mean these platforms individually don't have some of their own bias, and they're all doing a little bit of gatekeeping, particularly in politics, but in other areas as well. And that is disturbing as fuck, and we should not be happy about that, which is another reason for diversification. But in the end, freedom of speech, while not required on any of these platforms, we don't have a right to say whatever we want on this platform, believe it or not. They can shut you down at will. It's in the terms of service. It is plain as day. If at any time YouTube decides that I need to shut the fuck up on their platform, they can delete my channel, censor me, derank me, demonetize me, at their own discretion. And I don't like that. That's why I have ScottTheTruckDriver.com. That's why I go and I stream on DLive. I stream on Twitch now. I'm doing all of these other platforms specifically so one platform doesn't have all of that power, because different platforms have different agendas and different things that they allow and don't allow. And, I try and put the content I feel thrives best on these individual other platforms. But the media don't like that. They don't like that you can go, and they will find and search and destroy using social outrage mainly, but also fake news and other propaganda techniques to destroy any platform that makes a dent. And right now, the biggest target for them is Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Those are the three big targets that mainstream media wants to turn into the new gatekeepers, because they want to go back to the very profitable, very, very lucrative old way of having the media you're allowed to consume fed through a gatekeeper. As in, you're only allowed to hear and see what they want you to. And if you want anything else, you gotta fuck off in person to talk to people, see things, and do things. And for a lot of people, that's not practical, and that's not even how most people consume modern day information and communication. We aren't calling each other anymore. We're texting, we're messaging on social media, we're putting posts up, and if they gatekeeper that shit, they limit our ability to communicate, and we'll have to go back to the old ways, which were very inefficient. It took a long time for an idea to spread under this old gatekeeper mentality, and now an idea can spread within minutes on the internet, and that is very powerful. And it's a very powerful thing that they lost control of as the internet grew, as these platforms became so improved to the point where you can get production levels. You know, I'm filming this on a fucking cinema camera, for fuck's sakes. I can rival the video quality of any of these major television productions. I don't, because it's a lot of work, but at the same time, if I wanted to, I can. And I'm doing it right now. You know, granted, I'm filming my TV. I could screen capture it and give you the clips professionally, but then they would piss in my pool probably.
Who's watching people binge eat?
With the subject Ukraine.
A growing number of American adults are turning to it for their news, sports, medical information. It's now mankind's largest how-to collection.
Take the thick end.
How to tie a tie, tie the knot, or speak tie.
As in,
Who's watching people binge eat?
With the subject Ukraine.
A growing number of American adults are turning to it for their news, sports, medical information. It's now mankind's largest how-to collection.
Take the thick end.
How to tie a tie, tie the knot, or speak tie.
as in,
The site has produced whole new pastimes where millions watch strangers open boxes,
hold your phone like that.
whisper, sleep,
I need to do one of them fucking sleeping videos, don't I? I've been doing it all wrong. I could just sleep and get that fucking fat ad revenue cash, because they probably don't give a shit about that. They're not going to derank sleeping. But talk shit about keto, health, and all that other shit, and you're playing with fire. Just saying.
YouTube is an open platform, meaning anyone can upload a video. And so the site has been used to spread disinformation, vile conspiracies, and hate.
So you see what they're doing here. They're playing on fake news and social justice as a reason to take this gatekeeper mentality, this control over what you're allowed to see and hear. Here in the United States, we have the right to say what we want, and we also have the right to hear what we want, or not hear what we want. There are limitations. You know, you can't defame somebody, you can't scream fire in a crowded theater, or any of these other legal laws on the subject. But what they're not pointing that out. You know, you're free to say whatever the fuck you want out on the street, no matter what it is, as long as it falls within the law. They don't want you to have that same freedom here on the internet because of the speed at which information and ideas flow. They don't want that. It is clear throughout this news piece, whether it's about politics or whether it's about our health and our wellness and our food. They're throwing around the term fake news repeatedly throughout this thing, like they are somehow immune to doing the same fucking thing. And I guarantee you almost every mainstream media company has fake news, manipulated media, left out omissions, things that can reshape a story however they want it to slant to influence your opinions and the way you vote and the things you do and your lifestyle and your health. This is all a means of control. The media has lost control, and they've been throwing a temper tantrum ever since. They know they've lost control because of the results of the previous election. They know that they can't manipulate us anymore. And they are fighting tooth and nail to regain that by tearing down these platforms they view as the reason why they lost control of your hearts and minds and lifestyles. And this is an ongoing fight. We are in the middle of it. Our future is being decided right now. The information that you're allowed to consume and the things you're allowed to say is under attack. Right now, as we speak, as you watch this video. Make no mistake, they do not want you to say and hear anything without their approval. And whose approval, you might be asking? We've got corporations and the government. And politics. These are all the three pillars of controlling every aspect of your life. And if you step outside that box, the people in power, the anointed, the ones whose opinions should be respected while yours are not, they aren't having it. They're not going to go out without changing it, without manipulating it. And this is why we can't have nice things, apparently, because they're straight up going to fuck everyone that is not falling into their box of beliefs. And it's not just about politics. It's also about health and wellness and lifestyle. It's been repeatedly demonstrated. There have been plenty of health channels outright banned for having unpopular opinions. Because we somehow aren't smart enough to figure out who's full of shit and who isn't on the internet. Well, I'm here to tell you, people aren't as dumb as they think we are. You know, there are some that are stupid. No problem. But most of us are able to decide whether or not we believe what we are being shown. We know that there's fake news. We know that there are propagandists. We know that there are people trying to manipulate us. Everyone fucking knows that for the most part. If you don't know that nowadays, you're kind of asleep at the wheel and you need to wake the fuck up. Every single person who you watch and listen to is influencing your decisions and your opinions. But you have to retain the power to weed out the bullshit. And we have turned that lens on the mainstream media and they know it. They used to enjoy being authoritative figures for everything. They used to enjoy that when they said something in a news story or they put something in a TV show or they, told us what to do, what to think, what to say, and all of these things, we took it as gospel back in the day, back in the old gatekeeper regime. We trusted them. Now that the cat's out of the bag, we do not trust them anymore. That's a big pill to swallow, and it's costing them billions of dollars. Make no mistake, there's companies going out of business, there's people laying off, there's tons of money that's going away simply because we no longer trust the mainstream media, and we no longer trust everything we see and hear. We look at everything through skepticism at this point. Even on social media, even here on YouTube, I view everything with a healthy level of skepticism. And I go and I fact check. I try things out for myself to see if they work. These are all little methods I've been doing over the past 4 years, particularly in regards to my own health, my own nutrition, and my own decisions and opinions. I don't just take what's being fed to me from one source as gospel the way we used to. And trust me, a lot of the different channels were under the same companies that had the same message. There's tons of compilation videos out there where you see a bunch of local news channels reading the same fucking lines, and they put them all together, and you have this chorus of people saying the same shit on local news channels. So the cat's been out of the bag there, thanks to these platforms, thanks to social media. And I think we need to fight to keep this. So when we need to push back on mainstream media every time they do this to us. And you can do that by continuing to communicate and finding platforms that you are able to have public discourse over, that isn't manipulated, that isn't biased, that isn't doing anything to control what you see and hear. You know, you can put your own controls into place at that point. And that is the way I believe YouTube started, and I wish they would go back to it, to where if I didn't like a motherfucker, I could block them, filter them out of my results myself. I don't need an algorithm doing it for me. I don't need something deciding what I can and can't see. Give me some buttons on the fucking interface, and if somebody says some shit that offends me, or somebody's saying some shit that I think is complete bullshit, I can remove that from my personal feed myself. You know, instead of having computers and algorithms gatekeep based on these mainstream policies that they're just whittling away at us with. Slowly but surely, more and more things will continue to be deranked, censored, deleted, and with this latest YouTube guideline release, they can do so with impunity and without even fucking telling you why. And that should be alarming to everyone, including viewers. Not just content creators, but people who are watching this shit should be concerned that you're not getting the full picture. You're not hearing all the voices on a particular topic anymore, because those voices might not be spouting a mainstream narrative.
We're removing content that violates our policies. We removed, just in the last quarter, 9 million videos.
You recently tightened your policy on hate speech. Why'd you wait so long?
Well, you know, we have had hate policies since the very beginning of YouTube.
But pretty ineffective.
What we really had to do was we had to tighten our enforcement of that to make sure that we were catching everything. And we use a combination of people and machines. So Google as a whole has about 10,000 people that are focused on controversial content.
I also heard that these monitors, reviewers, sometimes they're beginning to buy the conspiracy theories.
I've definitely heard about that. And we work really hard with all of our reviewers to make sure that, you know, we're providing the right services for them. How we're being used.
The struggle for Wojcicki is policing the site while keeping YouTube an open platform.
You can go too far, and that can become censorship. And so we have been working really hard to figure out what's the right way to balance responsibility with freedom of speech.
But the private sector is not legally beholden to the First Amendment. You're not operating under some freedom of speech mandate. You get to pick.
We do, but we think there's a lot of benefit from being able to hear from groups and underrepresented groups that otherwise we never would have heard from.
And what about medical quackery on the site? Like turmeric can reverse cancer. Bleach cures autism. Vaccines cause autism. Once you watch one of these, YouTube's algorithms might recommend you watch similar content. But no matter how harmful or untruthful, YouTube can't be held liable for any content due to a legal protection called Section 230.
So, there it is. I am well aware of every single quackery that they laid out right there. And who gets to say what's quackery and what isn't? Some of the information that they took down as in the health sphere, I am in agreement with, and some I'm like, no, that's bullshit. And some is dangerous. And YouTube saying they don't want to cause harm, so that information I could understand, because you'd have people trying dangerous shit. But at the same time, turmeric curing cancer, if somebody wants to try and that has cancer wants to try that, what's wrong with that? Or any of these a lot of the things I talk about are not mainstream medical shit. If you go to a doctor and tell them you're doing some of these things, that doctor will tell you to go fuck yourself. So, in the old days, doctors were trusted. Doctors said things and we followed their instructions. Nowadays, we question our doctors. Why? Because look at how fucking great of a job they did at telling us the right shit to do to be fucking healthy. They didn't tell us the right shit to do. So we don't fucking trust them anymore. And now that we are able to try these things out and spread knowledge based on our own results and on the results of others who try things, and we have this wisdom of crowds going that is unseating the pharmaceutical industry as the go-to source for all that is health related. Our third biggest part of our economy. And they no longer have control over what we see and hear and trust. So much so that they run so many fucking ads, I can't even fucking keep up. Because they're trying to maintain that influence. When you got a pharmaceutical company saying if you got diabetes, you can take all of these pills and this insulin and you'll be alright. Then you got another motherfucker like myself on the internet going, hey, no, all you got to do is go keto and you'll be off of fucking, for the most part, off of diabetes medication in no time whatsoever. Complete control of your blood sugar without a problem. I'm pissing in a lot of pools and I didn't go to fucking university. I didn't fucking do anything. All I said is not only have I observed this in people in my personal life that went keto, that were diabetic, had amazing blood sugar control without any medication whatsoever for diabetes. As time went on, my knowledge base grew to where I understood beta cell function and how your pancreas can burn out and become fatty as well and not produce enough insulin. Even if you were keto, you'd still have blood sugar and A1C that's a little bit higher than it should be, but still, you're going to do a hell of a lot better on that than you will on insulin, which is a dead end that lands you in the hospital almost every single time, thanks to insulin resistance. So, what it boils down to is don't trust one source for anything, whether it's a mainstream source, an individual like myself, or any of these other motherfuckers out here that are giving you alternative opinions. That does not mean silence them. That does not mean censor them. They are a voice in a chorus. And you gotta listen to the most voices. Not parroting voices, but individual opinions. And some of those opinions you're not going to agree with. You're not going to believe. You're not going to trust. But you should still be able to hear them. This push by 60 Minutes to fucking be like, look, you can't hear this shit. Some of it's hard to hear. Some of it's offensive. Some of it is downright horrible. And you're not supposed to be allowed to hear it. You would watch some of that shit and be disgusted. You wouldn't be supporting it. You would be like, what the fuck is this? That person's a dick. Fuck that person that said that shit. I want that decision. I want that power to make that choice. I do not want it taken from me. I don't want somebody else doing that for me, which is what the mainstream fucking media used to be. They would make the decision on what was too offensive for you to hear or too offensive for you to see. And it's fuck you, 60 Minutes, for fucking doing that. Because you've just shown your cards. And I was a supporter of 60 Minutes Australia, but after seeing this shit, fuck you, 60 Minutes. Take your fucking ball and leave. We don't want you here on YouTube. I'm unsubscribing, by the way. Just so you know. If I see you in my feed, I'm unsubscribing from you. Because you guys are pieces of shit. You don't deserve a nice platform like this to spread your ideas and influence on. Because your ideas are wrong. And I will not support you going forward. And that goes for any mainstream media outlet that does this kind of shit. And that means I'm not watching a lot of mainstream shit. Imagine that. I watch a lot of commentary that consumes that for me and gives me the too long didn't watch version of your shit, and you don't get any of my fucking watch time. How's that? You want my watch time? Stop fucking doing it. Get down here and compete with us instead of trying to shut us down. Alright? It's a nice competitive environment. People will listen to the ones that know what they're fucking talking about and see through bullshit a lot easier in this day and age. Quit trying to control it. You know, you don't get the right to do that anymore. You had a platform, it's gone. Alright? It's still there, but no one's watching it. No one that, you know, none of the young people. All everyone's watching is on their phones, believe it or not. Some people don't even own a fucking TV. They lay in bed like this and drop the phone on their face as they fall asleep. You know, that's what's going on now. Get on board and shut the fuck up about trying to censor people. You have no right. You know? Go back to your fucking censored bullshit platform if you want a platform that's safe. And your only fucking issue is that people are watching us here. People are listening to us. And you don't like that because they're not listening to you anymore. And we see through your bullshit and we don't like it. And I hope YouTube looks at this fucking hit piece for what it is. And that's an assault on the platform and us creators who put our content here that make YouTube possible. If YouTube decides to back mainstream media as the sole source of content and shuts the rest of us out, whether it's starving us out slowly or censoring us out or deleting us or all these other things that we're worried about right now, if YouTube decides to go that route, they'll just be next in line as a platform that will die. And if a mainstream television is dying the way it is, along with newspapers have died, radio has died, these are all things that not everyone is giving their time to anymore. And therefore their money is going away. Change with the times. Keep up. It's time for these mainstream media companies to actually start doing a good fucking job, because they've lost their control and they're losing their influence. And that is what they cherish the most. It's the power and influence over your daily life. Tech companies have it, they don't. And the tech companies are starting to gatekeep. If they continue down this gatekeeping road, another platform will step up and fill the gap. I have no doubt in my mind that progress will happen. And we will see a platform rise up if these current platforms don't stop with this and stop manipulating what you're allowed to see and hear and say. It's a bad business model. For any platform that's doing that, it's a bad business model. You're going to alienate people to the point where they won't spend their time on your platform, both as creators and viewers. You don't want to do that. YouTube, and one thing I was impressed with was the CEO did say that they value, even though they don't have to do it, they could gatekeep like everybody else, they value the conversation, the context. And I was very impressed to see the context, but unfortunately they don't have enough people doing the context justice in terms of who they choose to censor, who they choose to delete, and all that other shit. So, what the fuck do I know? Because I'm not 60 Minutes, or CNN, or Fox News, or any of these other motherfuckers that are telling you how to think, who to vote for, what to eat, what not to eat, what's healthy, what's not healthy. I'm not any of them fuckers. I'm not an authoritative source. that should be listened to. And that's a quote from the CEO of YouTube. And does that mean that your right to watch what I have to say should be taken away? And my ability to say it should be taken away? There's a lot of people who would like to see channels like mine go. There's a lot of corporations that would not be happy if I was to have millions of viewers. And that'll probably never fucking happen as long as I'm doing health content. So, you know, as my approach to this has been diversify, have my own website, my own platform to do shit, and also to diversify my content in terms of expressing myself and putting the content in places where it belongs. So if I do anything too controversial, I'll go to the platform that allows me the most leeway there. If I want to do a dumbed down video or a music video or a camera comparison video, it's going right on my fucking YouTube channel alongside whatever content I manage to squeeze off in the health sphere. You know, and so that's why you're noticing a variety of shit will be continuing to come out for my channel. I'm liking the doing the camera shit. I'm liking talking about some of these creative things. I'm liking sharing my music. I want to share other things that's allowed, that YouTube is supposedly encouraging. And maybe then somebody will stumble on my health shit. You know, because they can derank my health shit, but if I put out, it's clear to me, I've seen the algorithmic difference. I put out a camera video and I'm almost up to 4,000 views in a month on that video. I put out a fucking health video and it doesn't, maybe 1,500, 1,600, unless I'm talking about something particularly viral, in which case it might shoot up. But for the most part, I see the differences in the analytics. From when I do a camera video or a music video or a travel video, some are promoted, some aren't. Some people are not interested in watching. Some things people are very interested in watching. And that's why my channel is shifting into this variety channel situation where I just post videos about whatever the fuck I want. Because quite frankly, YouTube isn't paying me enough to post what is popular or pander to a specific audience. You know, I've got my supporters for my podcasts and my live streams, and the people that fund health videos and certain videos here on YouTube. You know, and while people fund my videos, I'll put up the things I think they want me to put up. But you're going to see me putting up videos I enjoy putting up when, you know, I get a lot, like an unfunded week or not a lot of videos. But once again, what the fuck do I know? Because I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just an asshole. Please like and subscribe for more shit, and I'll make more shit. If you like this video, you found it enlightening, or you want to see me make more fucking videos, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, leave a tip in the virtual tip jar for every $20 received. I will make one video, up to 4 videos per week. Cutoffs are on Sunday. Anything more than that is a tip. And I will continue to fund that. You can also subscribe to my free email list on ScottTheTruckDriver.com, in which case you'll get to see all kinds of extra content, live stream replays. I have an actual feed from my Twitch in the subscriber lounge now. There's downloadable podcasts, hours upon hours of content for free that used to be for sale but is now for free through my email list. You get the password to it with each email blast. Periodically the password does change. So if you want to maintain access to the email list. And I don't spam you. I do 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 emails on a busy stream week. But I tend to notify people of upcoming streams that way, which platform I'm doing things on. If I do a video on another platform, that's how you're going to get informed about it. You know, and not all of my content comes here to YouTube. I am streaming pretty regularly on DLive and Twitch, all of which you can find by going to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. That is the hub for everything I do going forward. And If you like my content and want to consume more of it, that is the best place to start. If you're ever finding it difficult, or I don't put out enough fucking videos for you on a given week, and you want to see some new shit, if you go to one of these other avenues, you'll see some new shit. So, that's it. I just wanted to, it pissed me off. Another hit piece. It's cost creators so much over the past 3 or 4 years since the media has been attacking YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It has cost content creators and viewers so much in terms of money, things to watch, time. It's really sad, because YouTube used to be a place where you could express yourself, you could communicate with other people, and not be worrying about gatekeeping, whether or not your channel's going to be taken down at any moment. But that's not, that time is gone. That time is past. Now every video I post on YouTube, I wonder if it's going to be my last video, because I'm not censoring myself. I refuse to. I'm not going to change. If YouTube deplatforms me from YouTube, then I have these other avenues. If they all deplatform me, then I must be a piece of shit. And I'll come to that conclusion, and I'll go do something else. But for now, I'm still posting on YouTube and all these other platforms, because I want to share the knowledge I've learned, because I believe it can help people. I've reversed a lot of bad life choices and poor health decisions in the past 4 years, and I get letters from thousands of people telling me that they also have done what I've done and gotten the same results I did. And when I get one of those letters, I realize that I have helped people with my content, that otherwise they would have never gotten this knowledge. If it was back in the old gatekeeper mentality, there would be no keto, intermittent fasting. You wouldn't even fucking know about it. And it is YouTube and the internet in general that has allowed us the ability to do that. Because if you left it up to the gatekeepers, they would be still telling you that Atkins died of a heart attack, even though he slipped and fell and smacked his head and died. They were, that back in the day, that's what I heard from the media. It was his diet fucked him. Now we know that's not true now, thanks to the internet, but hey, it's okay for them to fucking give us fake bullshit as long as they're the only ones talking that you can hear. Can't get away with that shit now, though. You give us fake bullshit, somebody's going to fact check you within 20 minutes, and there'll be 100 Twitter posts, 10 Facebook posts, and 5,000 YouTube videos on your subject whenever you fuck up. So I'm sorry that you have some people that are holding you accountable, mainstream media, but maybe you need to up your fucking journalism game and stop being pieces of shit and fucking with us all and fucking trying to censor us and take down fucking the YouTube platform, turn it into a fucking TV. We don't fucking want it. Fuck off.